We are live. It's the debut of the new Parting Schotts Podcast, the video edition of the show, and I'm Ken Schott, your host, New York State Hockey Hall of Famer. I got to brag a little bit about that, an award-winning podcast host from my days at the Daily Gazette. And welcome to this edition of the podcast. And joining me on this debut is the head coach. He begins his 5th season as the head coach of Union College men's hockey, Josh Hauge. Josh in Minnesota on vacation with his family. Josh, I appreciate a few minutes. Where are you located right now in Minnesota?
I'm actually in Woodbury, Minnesota, just at a grocery store. And, first off, congrats on the induction to the New York State Hockey Hall of Fame. Was a great event. Was fun to be a part of.
No, thank you for being there for the event. It was much appreciated. Let's talk about how's the offseason been going for you?
It's a little bit of chaos. I mean, I think when you look at just trying to get your roster finalized, and the transfer portal has added a whole new element to it. So it's a lot more recruiting. It's a lot more being active on the phones and just seeing what's available. And even at this point in time, if we have the ability to add another player, we're still going to do that. So I think it's fun, but it never ends.
Well, the big story of the offseason came shortly after the season ended. Ben Muthersbaugh, who had a great 2 years with the Gardner Chargers, decides to leave for Arizona State. He had 32 goals and 32 assists in 72 career games for Union. He tied with Brandon Burr for the team lead in scoring last season. Did his departure catch you off guard?
We had heard rumblings of it that that people were talking to him or his group, I guess, however you want to put it. But in today's landscape, I think you're ready for anything at all times, as far as good as things can be going and as much success as a player can have. If they think that they need a different opportunity, they can go. I think we were frustrated that Ben decided to leave. We thought that we were in a spot where our top players have signed NHL contracts the last couple of years, and we thought, if he stayed and put some work in, that could be something that would be for him. But he felt he needed a new challenge, and we are excited about what we have coming back. And I think the guys that we have in our locker room are unbelievable people and unbelievable hockey players. So excited about what we have.
Was it NIL money that maybe lured him away?
I think that was a part of it. I think, at the end of the day, everybody's always looking for something different and something maybe they think is better or different. And I can't speak for Ben. I don't know why he made the decision. He played hard for us for 2 years, and we wish him nothing but the best, and we are part of his development process. But like I said, I'm more excited about the group we have coming in and coming back. So it's tough to really pinpoint why he made the decision. And as much as I agree or disagree with it, it doesn't really matter. It was his call to make.
So with the graduation of the top scorers like Brandon Burr, Nate Hanley, Parker Lindauer, Colby MacArthur, and the loss of Muthersbaugh, how are you going to replace the scoring?
Well, I think it starts with your guys that are returning. I mean, you look at what Riley Bruick and Lucas Buziol did as far as taking a jump in their sophomore season. I think the same can be said for Connor Smith. He showed some, really, great moments for us. So I think guys like that are going to have to take another step. And then, you look at guys in-house. Troy Pelton had a really good first year for us and was our most improved player. I think he's a guy that's going to have to, go from scoring a couple goals to scoring, if he can get to 7, 8, 9 goals, that would be huge. And then I think it all starts for us with our back end. I think we have the best back end in college hockey. I think what we have returning is going to be pretty special. They can get up and make plays offensively, but they're really good defenders.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, with the defense. Tyler Dunbar, Etienne Lassard, Will Felicio, Carter Rose. I mean, they were solid last year. I mean, how much of a strength is that?
Yeah, I think it's huge for us, and I think with the additions we've made, and the guys in house that are ready to take another step, I think our decor is in a really good spot. Excited about them. Those guys that you mentioned, they can really make plays offensively, but they take pride in their defending, and I think they're going to be in that spot to take a good jump for us. And maybe we take a little, some licks early with our young forwards as they go. But I think it's a really talented group, and they'll figure it out really quick. But we'll have our D core there to carry them through
it. Dunbar, he had a great year, but he came from Colorado College after 2 years there. I mean, how stunning was his play last year? Because, I mean, you looked at his stats from Colorado College and nothing really stood out.
Well, yeah, I think he just needed a spot to be where, he knew the coaching staff believed in him. He could make a mistake and play through it. And, I think that's what makes Union special, is like we have a place where when we believe in you and you put the jersey on, we're going to play you through some nights that maybe aren't your best moments in hockey, but like we'll find them for you. And I think that's what you saw with Tyler, is we found some of his best hockey. Give him all the credit in the world. I don't think his process changed from when he was at Colorado College to when he was here, but I think he just felt more comfortable. I think Colorado College did a really nice job working with him, and he stepped right in and made a big difference for us. So to say that we thought he was going to be really impactful was definitely what we thought, but I don't know that we can sit here and say that we knew he was going to be as dominant as he was. And it was great for us to see.
Yeah, obviously goaltending is not a question mark. Cameron Corpy had a good season last year. Braden Gillespie emerged as a solid backup. I mean, do you like your goaltending situation?
Yeah, I think it's in a really good spot. So, Cameron had hip surgery at the end of the season, so he probably won't be ready for day one. I think he'll be on the ice, but to say he's going full speed right away. So Braden will get a chance to see the net, and then Brendan Holohan will get an opportunity as well. So really excited about all three, and just to go into the season knowing that you have a really stable goaltending situation and defense core, does give you a lot of confidence as a coach.
You mentioned the hip surgery for Corpy. Was that something that was affecting his play during last season? And when did you notice that something was not right?
Well, he had to take a little bit of a pause in the middle of the season where he, had to step away and get some work done on that. So, it was something that we kind of knew was there with him, for the majority of the season, but he fought through it. And, and when he wasn't healthy, Braden was there, and Braden did an outstanding job for us.
I mean, how confident he performed well last season? A couple of the shutouts. He came from major junior, so how effective was he as the backup? And if he gets off to a solid start this year, is there a chance that maybe you'll split time with Corpy? Yeah,
I mean, I guess he started off as the backup, but by the end of the season, we felt really good in having a 1A and 1B. Two guys that could win games in different styles. And Braden just is a tireless worker. He's always putting in that extra time. So I know he's looking forward to having the opportunity to get that first start. But after that, like whenever Cameron's ready, he's going to be pushing. And and again, Brendan Holohan, when he came in and did play, he did a good job for us. So we have the three guys, but they're going to get what they earned this year, and excited about that.
You're watching the new Parting Schotts podcast here on various platforms. You're on StreamYard, and it's on YouTube, X, and Facebook. Let me ask you about the leadership group. Last season, the letters were all worn by seniors. Who is emerging as the leadership group, and who will wear the C this season?
Yeah, that's still yet to be determined as far as who will wear the C. But I mean, we could have like the whole alphabet on our jersey this year. There's a lot of guys that could really step up and lead. Right now, I think when you look at the guys that are seniors that have done a nice job for us and are doing some stuff in our leadership group, that would be Tyler Dunbar, Carter Rose, and Jacob Jeanette, all three of them, different types of leaders, but, really, really positive in what they've done in the leadership group. And then, from the junior class, I think, you look at Lucas Buziol. He's been a guy for us that, I'm pretty confident saying will wear some sort of letter for us, whether he's our captain or assistant. He's been, just outstanding and really taken a lot of that leadership on. Riley Bruick, another great person who does things the right way all the time, and is really what our program's about, as well as Drew Sutton. That group has been really good for us. And then we have one sophomore that's been in the leadership group, and that's Etienne Lessard. And I just think he's, again, what our program's all about. He's a great hockey player and a great person.
How important will it be to have someone among that leadership group to be like a junior or sophomore? Because, as I said, you had all seniors this past season. So how important will it be to have somebody that could maybe be a 2-year member of that leadership group, or even 3?
Yeah, I think it just makes things a lot easier when you transition from year to year. And, it's nice when you have somebody that's been a part of the leadership group that can, just kind of keep things going. And, that group last year did a lot of great things for us, but, this group wants to really build off of it and make it their own. And I think that's what is really nice when there's big turnover, is you can make some bigger changes, because you get to look at why you made decisions and why you do things. And it's a lot easier to switch them when it's a big group.
There's a big promotion among your staff. John Ronan, who's been there with you since you first started. Of course, John was on the staff of Rick Bennett. You kept John along when you were hired, and he's promoted to associate head coach. What led to that promotion?
I mean, I think I've kind of always viewed John, as more of as a co-coach, and the same with Mike. I think all of our staff, we really, try to do things as a unit, as a group. John is, just, again, we talk about what our program wants to be about. He's a great person. He's really caring for the players. He's a great hockey mind. Does an unbelievable job with our power play and working with our forwards. But I think when it comes down to it, he wants to be a head coach, and we need to do everything in our power to make sure he's ready to move on and do that. And, I think giving him that title gives him the ability to be in the same breath as some of the other assistant coaches that are being talked about as the next head coaches at different programs. And I think he's deserving of that. I think he needs an opportunity, and if I can do anything to help our staff move along and further their career, that's what we're trying to do. But in hindsight, it was probably late by me, probably something we should have done a couple years ago. So apologize to John for that on this, but he's a great person, a great friend, and so important to our program.
I mean, how much did you lean on him when you first arrived here? Because obviously he knew the program. Yeah, he started as a volunteer assistant on that championship team in 2014. He came back when Rick was there. How important was it to lean on him as you made the transition from Clarkson associate head coach to Union head coach?
Yeah, it was really nice to have somebody there that you can trust, that knows how the school operates, that knows, where you have to go when you're given a campus tour, that knows what the buildings are, that knows, just how the financial aid process or the admission process works. Early on in our time here, you're really hamstrung with not having the scholarships, and he was able to show me some different ways that we could, make the school as affordable as we could for the student athletes. So it's been nice to work the scholarships in together and be a part of that process, and excited about our future together.
You're one of the rink, obviously, great success. What any improvements to the rink? What are we looking at for year 2 at M&T Bank Center?
Well, yeah, we I think we worked out a lot of the kinks out, whether it was with the sound early on or just just little things that way. But I think for you, the press box or the media room will have a roof on it, so things like
Yay.
that. Just within our locker room, little things like there was just some drainage issues with the showers where the water was pooling up, where they got that stuff corrected for our players. The heating and the air were just kind of off, so they got that stuff, so there won't be any days where our guys go into the rink and in their changing room it's 55 degrees. So some of that stuff that was a learning curve for the building, I think we got all corrected, and I think you'll continue to see just more improvements to the game night as far as just different promotions that the school can now put on. It really went from, we loved everything about Mesa and just how loud it was in the atmosphere, but the amenities and just everything that we can do, I think we all realize we can take a step and, really try to improve the fan experience.
Let me ask you, a big controversy here in the offseason dealt with the NCAA and the 5-year eligibility rule. It looked like hockey was going to be hurt by this, but eventually it worked out. Can you explain the whole situation that help people understand what was going on?
Yeah, so the biggest thing is they did make the transition that you're now eligible to play 5 years of college athletics. Starting right now as you move forward. Not the class that just graduated, but everyone moving forward. But it goes from when you turn 19. So when you turn 19, your clock starts, and you have 5 years to participate. So in college hockey, most of our guys are playing junior hockey, which is post high school. Originally, they were going to make that date the day you graduated from high school, your clock would start. So by pushing it back to 19, in theory, gives everybody a chance to play at least 1 year junior hockey and possibly 2. For a school like us, having them, the players being able to come in and play 2 years of junior hockey is a huge benefit, and something that we were really pulling for. So it was a big win for us and the ECAC, I think, to get that rule. A lot of credit goes to Doug Christensen for being the leader of that charge.
Let's talk about the recruits. 3 defensemen among the recruits and 7 forwards. Let's start. We'll do it in order here. Start with defenseman Jack Henry, who comes from Northeastern. He's a Skaneateles native.
Yeah, so Jack has been a staple for the on the D-Corps for Northeastern the past 2 seasons. Pretty much played in every single game. A guy that played a lot of minutes for him. Looking to come in here and really solidify our D-Corps. We were looking for somebody to be able to step in and play right away. We think Jack's that guy. Good hard-nosed defender, but I think he has the ability to add some offense to his game, and somebody for us that we're expecting big things from.
And so at forward, Tommy Cronin from Edina, Minnesota.
Yeah, so Tommy played at Alaska last season. Really, didn't get an opportunity, whether it was through injury or whatnot, early in the season, and then the second half of the year played in every game for him. Was I think just about a point a game, if not over a point a game or around that. I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but he's as smart of a hockey player that I've ever recruited. He's real cerebral. He can find players, good passing ability. Somebody I think will be pushing to play on our power play right away, and we're looking. Obviously, we lost some guys that can produce, and we're going to need him too.
Talk about forward Elliot Gully from Champaign, Illinois.
So Elliot is as responsible of a forward as we've ever had. Plays the game the right way, plays hard. You look at what he did in the USHL this year, and he led the USHL with a plus 41, which was, I think it was like 7 above the next nearest player in the whole league. So to be plus 41, be on the ice for 41 more goals than your opposition, I think says a lot about him. He'll be able to, he can play center, which we do need. He can kill penalties, can play power play. So, again, somebody that we're expecting big things from.
Nathan Free, who's from Calgary, forward.
Yeah. So Nathan will actually be our first player. Obviously, we've had a goaltender that played major junior, but this will be our first player. Was part of the Brooks program when in the Alberta BCHL, and then when had the ability to go major junior, made the decision to go to Portland. He is extremely talented. You look at somebody that can add offense for us, that can score goals. That's what he's going to do. He's the true version of a hockey player. Like, he wants to be at the rink all the time. Really passionate about his craft, and I think fans are going to love watching him play because he's pretty fun to watch.
You have your version of the Sundin twins in Gavin Gary and Luke Gary from Minnetonka, Minnesota. Forwards.
Yeah, the Gary brothers. both forwards again played in the USHL. Luke had over a point a game with 61 points this year in the USHL. He's really crafty. Again, can find space. He'll be somebody that produces for us. Has the ability to play on the power play. And then his brother Gavin, actually, he had a surgery, so he missed the first portion of the season. So he only played the last 30 games. Again, had about a point a game. He's a little bigger, plays in the middle, so he can play center for us. Defends hard. Again, with us losing some of the centermen we lost, we're going to need Gavin to come in and play, good, solid, responsible minutes for us. And excited about watching him.
I don't know if you can see that. It's on your screen, John, but a viewer on YouTube says he bets Dunbar had a few eyeballs, NHL eyeballs on him last year.
Yeah, he did. He was offered, multiple invites to development camps this summer. He chose to go to Pittsburgh. Pretty impressive. They do strength testing there, and he finished in the top 5 in almost every single category. So a lot of credit to Coach Dan Gableman, who spends the time with the guys in the gym, really getting him ready for that camp. But all accounts, it won't surprise me if Tyler's one of our next guys to sign an NHL deal at the end of the season.
Hudson, Massachusetts native lefty Markonitis, a forward. What about him?
Yeah, lefty plays with a ton of energy. He's a little bit of a shooter. He can score from anywhere with his shot. Again, going to look for him to play physical, play hard, and score. Again, you talk about the guys we were missing. He's a lefty, can put the puck in the back of the net, and he will do that for us. Another forward we're really excited about.
With the name Lefty, is he a left-handed shot?
Yes, he is.
You never know these days. August Falloon from St. Cloud, Minnesota. I think he's a transfer, right?
Yeah. So August is we call him Augie, a transfer from the University of Minnesota. This to me is as close to a Tyler Dunbar situation as like we can get, as far as somebody who we believe has a ton of ability and just needs that opportunity to really be put in a spot where he can play and have the freedom to play his way at a really good clip in the USHL. So we're looking for him to come in and take a good step and again fill the void of what we've lost. No
relation to former NHL player Pat Falloon, right?
No.
Okay. We'll wrap it up with 2 more defensemen, starting with Brady O'Malley from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Yeah, so Brady, he was co-captains with Elliot Gully in Green Bay in the USHL. So again, another kid that we're gonna lean on as far as leadership and stepping in and helping the young guys come together as a group. He's a competitor, big body defenseman. If I had to make it comparable, I think his player comparable would be a little bit of Nick Young for us. Somebody that can chip in offensively, but is going to play those harder minutes against other teams, top lines and really be a hard-nosed defender for us.
And then Cooper Sharp from Camrose, Alberta.
Yeah, so Cooper, he's again somebody that loves hockey, loves being at the rink. Defends at a really high level, where we really knew that Cooper was going to be a really good player for us was when he was he's playing for Team Canada at the World Junior A Showcase, and they were playing against the USHL team, and he played a ton of minutes, defended extremely hard, just made that simple first breakout pass, and that's what we're going to need from him, just to be a simple hockey player that eats minutes, that plays against other teams' best players, but neutralizes those guys.
Let's take a look at the schedule. Of course, you open up with an exhibition game at home against Colgate on Friday, October 2nd, and the regular season drops the next day, October 3rd, at Army West Point, which is becoming really a tradition now, opening the season with Army West Point. Do you like to keep that going?
Yeah, I would. I think, a couple of different things. I think with proximity, it's a natural opposition for us. I think, they play really hard, and to get that game early in the season against a team that's gonna compete at a high level, I think is really important for us. But more importantly, I think it's really impressive and just a great experience for our guys to play them. What those guys are going to do, what they sacrifice for our country, and for us to go there this year and get to take a look at their facilities and what it's like for just a taste of a day in their life, I think is a big learning experience for our guys.
Of course, the big news is the annual Capital District Mayor's Cup game against RPI will not be played at MVP Arena in Albany. Rather, it's going to be up in Glens Falls at Parting Schotts Arena. I believe there's a scheduling conflict with Disney on Ice that forced the game to be moved up to Glens Falls. I mean, is there excitement or disappointed that the game is not going to be played in Albany?
I think it's both. I think, we've, each year sort of taken a little more steps as far as making that experience at MVP a little bit, better, and just making sure that, like each year it's the attendance has grown. But like I've seen a lot of, Thunder games up at Parting Schotts Arena, and it's a great venue, a chance to maybe showcase college hockey to some of the local people up there. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think it'll be a great venue for a year, but I don't know if it'll go right back to MVP is kind of what I think is going to happen. But again, we'll see how this goes this year.
Your home opener is against the opponent that's become very familiar the last couple of years, Alaska Fairbanks. That'll be on Saturday, October 10th. And then you'll go out to Alaska Fairbanks December 11th and 12th. How did Fairbanks end up coming back here? Because obviously with the schedule, they've been here the last 2 years playing a pair of games here. But how did they end up on the schedule at home on October 10th?
Yeah, so basically what happened is we were supposed to play Mercyhurst for 2 games. When the program folded there, we had to, kind of work out a situation to, figure out how we would adapt and add 2 games. Luckily, we were able to add Providence right away, and then we were looking to try to add somebody different. We love playing Alaska, and they've been a good partner for us, but at the end of the day just had to find a game, and they're playing at Boston College the night before, so they're going to play BC and then come over and play us. So that's kind of why and how it happened. Typically don't play somebody 3 times out of league, but with us going up there this year, we have the ability to play 2 extra games, and we wanted to make sure that we didn't leave any games on the table.
How much fun will be able to go to Fairbanks, even though it's probably going to be 20 below and 2 feet or 3 feet of snow on the ground?
Yeah, it'll be cold and it'll be dark, but it'll be a great life experience for our guys. I still have a lot of connections from my time when I coached junior hockey up there, so we have some different things we can set up as far as whether the guys want to go out to Chena Hot Springs and see what it's like to go there, or go do some ice fishing or just dog sled riding, and it'll be a good, we get to go up there for a week, don't have to go up there and stay there for a season.
Yeah, the nice thing is there's no classes for the guys to worry about, because their final exams will be done before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so we'll get up there nice and early in the week, and really try to just be tourists for a day or two. And last year the Belfast trip was a highlight for a lot of our guys, and I think we have the ability to obviously we're going to stay in the U.S. this year, but it's a completely different life up there, and I think they'll get to experience that culture.
Speaking of Thanksgiving, you'll be home that Thanksgiving weekend. Ohio State, for the first time since the early days of Union hockey, I think it was like 75, 76, that Ohio State played at what then Achilles rink. They're coming in for 2 games, November 27th, 28th. How big is that to get Ohio State in here?
Yeah, I think for us, we're always trying to get new opponents to come into our building. I think the arena here has really helped us with that, and excited about playing Ohio State. I actually coached Paul Kirtland, who's their assistant, and coached with JB Bittner, their other assistant. And so as we kind of started talking to teams. We wanted to try to get some different conferences to come in here, and getting a Big Ten opponent is big for the program.
And then New Year's Day and the day after New Year's, Bentley comes to M&T Bank Center for a pair of 7 o'clock games. What's it going to be like playing on New Year's Day?
Yeah, it's, for us to have a team that played in the NCAA tournament last year come in here and play, I think is huge. And they're always a top team, in Atlantic hockey. It's going to be a tough one, especially coming right back from Christmas break. So it'll be really good for us to play them and get into conference play right after that.
Of course, the traditional ECAC hockey opener against RPI the weekend of Halloween, October 30th at Houston Fieldhouse, and then, of course, the return game at M&T Bank Center on October 31st. Speaking of the league, obviously Dartmouth won the ECAC hockey tournament title last year, and it was you guys came within a whisker of getting a first-round bye. You got to the quarterfinals again. What's the league going to look like? I mean, I know it's only July 31st, but what's the sense of what the conference is going to look like this season?
Well, I think it's credit to the coaches in this league. I think everybody has really closed the gap from where it was a couple years ago when it was top heavy. But I think from 1 to 12 right now, every game's going to be going to be tough. I think right now, until someone consistently can knock Quinnipiac off, I think right now they're probably going in as the favorites. Them and Dartmouth. I mean, Dartmouth returns 2 guys who a lot of people thought might sign, and maybe 3 if you count their goaltenders. So they're going to be really good again. I think Cornell will have a nice hockey team. I think Clarkson should be good. I think you look at Harvard and a new coach and what they'll be, but I think they have a lot of talent on their roster. So I think again a good team. Colgate should have some ability. I mean, you go up and down the list, and I could talk about everybody, but as of right now, I mean, I haven't really dove into everybody's roster, but I think Quinnipiac or Dartmouth would be the preseason favorite.
Yeah. Well, you're in Minnesota, spending some family time, but I think later today you're going to get to see the Stanley Cup. Yeah,
that's we came back maybe a day or 2 earlier than we normally do. The best man at my wedding was Eric Fink. I coached with him for a while, and he is part of the scouting staff for the Carolina Hurricanes, and today is his day with the Cup. So we're going to go down to Owatonna, Minnesota, and celebrate with him for the day. Huge honor for us to be a part of. He's a great friend and actually someone that helps our program whenever he's out recruiting or scouting and he sees someone that he thinks would be good for us. He always shoots a text message. So, excited for my kids to go down there and celebrate with his family.
Obviously Shane Gottsberger, the Union outstanding defenseman from the 2014 National Championship team, member of the Carolina Hurricanes, won the Stanley Cup. He had his day with the Cup. It was in Connecticut, I think, a couple weeks ago. Was there any talk about trying to bring the Cup, have Shane bring the Cup to Union?
Yeah, I think Shane was, obviously willing to do whatever he can to help Union. He's been, one of our biggest supporters and someone that does a lot for us. At the end of the day, like, they just decided to spend the day in Connecticut, with him and his family. And, we were able to get the national championship trophy to him so he could have that. So there's some pictures of him with the Cup and the national championship trophy. And, when you start really diving into what he's been as a hockey player, it's crazy. I didn't realize that he's only the second player to win the World Juniors, the national championship, and the Stanley Cup. So, he's done a lot.
Yeah, that's an amazing career. And maybe one of these days, the athletic department union will start retiring some numbers there for the hockey team. And he should be one of the first ones up in the rafters as number 14.
Yeah, he would. He'd definitely have to be up there on that list.
Speaking of banners, I did post this on social media about a month and a half ago. The national championship banner is finally hanging over the rink and not on the wall and at the entrance to the stands there at M&T Bank Center. How good is it to have the national championship banner hanging over the ice?
Yeah, I think that would be a great addition. I think when teams come in and have to look right at it. I think it adds at a level of intimidation, and it gives us something to strive for every day to try to repeat that performance. So I think it's where it should be, and a good spot now.
And as we did on our weekly podcast when I was at that newspaper, the Gazette, we always take readers' questions, and we'll start with Adam Shano. He writes, Coach, hi, Coach, hope all is well. How excited are you to see the new freshmen/transfers on the ice, and what are your expectations of the group coming in? Can't wait to see you guys at the game at West Point. Go you.
Yeah, so Adam's someone that has done a lot for the program, and thank you for all you do, Adam, and excited to have. He's actually going to be joining us on the Army trip. He'll be, I'm assuming it'll be him and his wife jumping on the bus with us, as he won that at the golf tournament this year. And I think when you look at this year's group, I think all 10 of them are going to play, and again, everybody. The first year guys at times can come in and out of the lineup, but I think they're guys that are going to make an impact on the program and through their time here be really successful. We're going to need them to be good. I think there's a really good group of what we have, and we're going to look for our veterans to really lead the way and take a step. And you win with your older guys earlier in the season, but by Christmas time, we're going to need these young guys to be point producers, to be guys that are playing key minutes. And I think there's a lot of them that are going to be, when we're looking at what our lineup is in the playoffs, that are going to be really important for us. So excited about a lot of them, and there's some pretty special ones there.
Yeah, Union Bob won on X. He was also asking about your thoughts on the incoming players, which you basically answered. He wants our thoughts on the eligibility rule.
I don't know. There's just such sweeping landscape changes. It'll be nice to make things simpler. The things that's frustrating for me, I think, has just been the pro players that they've allowed to come in. I think that's been something that, for so long we were told those guys were ineligible, and all of a sudden now they just let certain guys in that, made it, what level of money can you make? And I think that's been frustrating. I think giving guys 5 years is great for other sports. For us, our guys graduate in 4 years. We don't have a lot of guys that have that fifth year. So I think you'll see us have guys play that junior hockey as long as they can, and then come in and play 4 years. That'll be, our process.
Yeah, to me, I think that the age was the thing, because I think the way the NCAA was leaning toward, that was really going to kill college hockey. The fact, I think they finally, some people, like you said, Doug Christensen among them, got to the NCAA, say, look, college hockey is a different animal. You got to make some exceptions here, and they did.
Yeah, I think we got lucky with that, and I think it was important for us to get guys to be able to play till they're 19.
Daniel Sipe, who did a great job on the graphic promoting the podcast. Thank you, Daniel. He's asking, what are your goals for the players other than ice hockey victories in the upcoming season for Union?
Well, I think for us, we talk to them all the time, is we want them to strive to be their best in all areas of life. So, we want them to be really good, citizens and helping out. It's going to start for us at our youth hockey camp. We want them to get involved with the kids and, making sure they're not just standing in the corner talking to each other, that they're trying to develop the youth and help those kids be better hockey players and better people. For us, again, getting involved in the community in some capacity, in whatever fashion that they want to be, and invest to help everybody around us be better, I think is important. For me, I do a lot with youth hockey. So if our guys want to do that, that's great. If they want to, volunteer at a home or at a homeless shelter, whatever they can do to help, whatever they're passionate about, we want them to get involved in and really try to make a difference. And then academically, that they're not just sitting in the corner of the classroom, not being engaged. There's so much more to Union College than just, getting that degree. It's building relationships. It's getting to know your professors. It's, making a difference in the classroom. So I think for us, we want high achievers. We want guys that are going to strive to be their best in all areas of life. And I think that's really what we have with this group.
And Peter Bowie, he has a couple questions. First, he says, "Hey Kenny, great to see you back at it, and congrats again on the Hall of Fame induction. Coach, welcome back. Hope summer is going well. Was curious if you thought at this early date that the real potential exists for a real high-scoring season. A lot of these boys can find the twine."
Yeah, I hate saying that every guy can score that we had, but like really, there's a lot of guys that are going to score some goals for us here that are coming in, and I think that for us, like we want to play an up tempo game. We want to push the pace. I think we were pretty successful last year, is the amount of production we had offensively, and even though we lost some players and some really good players, we want to continue to take strides that way, and I think we have the ability to do that.
Yeah. And Peter also asks, other than Lego Stava with an injury and a lobby, did the NCAA ruling change any other players' plans?
Well, I think it, yeah. I mean, with some of these guys getting 5 years and just how the landscape changes, there's definitely going to be some alterations to what players have to do. So we have a player that's signed that in Joe Fenton that we almost had to bring in this year because we wanted to make sure that he gets his 4 years. So he ended up he'll have to take a community college, go full time at school this year to keep his eligibility and not burn a year. So there's things like that you have to do to just make sure guys get as many years as they can, and we're not hurting anyone.
Yeah. Well, everybody, thanks for the questions, and we always look forward to your participation. And as we get more comfortable with this during the stream, or even just doing a taping of it. So, well, Josh, I appreciate a few minutes. I know you're in quality family time there, so I appreciate you taking some time to do this. And hopefully, if we get some of the kinks worked out here, we'll make this a weekly segment once again. As well, that'd be year 4 for us doing a podcast.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it and all you do for Union hockey. I know there's a lot of people that were worried when everything happened with you that we wouldn't have the voice of or someone telling the story of Union hockey, and you do that better than anyone. So really appreciate everything you do for the program.
I appreciate that, Josh. And if people don't know by now, I was laid off by the Gazette on March 19th, less than a week after Union season ended. I'm working at Cumberland Farms, and with my schedule right now, if things work out, I will be able to cover Union maybe on an independent basis, and I'll ask you more questions of the readers, because it's going to be obviously a subscription-based thing. We'll see if people are willing to pay a small fee to read the story. So hopefully they will, and we'll talk more about that as obviously we got some time yet. It's only July 31st. Probably start maybe mid-August. We'll worry about that. But Josh, appreciate a few minutes. We'll talk to you when you get back from Minnesota, and we'll talk soon.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, that's Josh Hauge, and this will wrap things up on the new Parting Schotts podcast. So for Josh Hauge, I'm Ken Schott. Thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, please email me at partingshots@gmail.com. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel at Slapshots. And I'm on X, Blue Sky, and Threads at Slapshots. So that wraps things up. We'll see you next time. From the Parting Schotts Podcast studio in Schenectady, New York, Ken Schott saying good day, good hockey.